Hello, welcome to the Hungry Fitness Community Call. We are in the middle of the Elevate Your Everyday Challenge. So we're going to be talking about habits related to that today. So if you're not doing the challenge, don't stress. You'll still learn a lot on this call, but you just won't be eligible for the giveaway that we give at the end of the call, which today, I'm kind of back. Actually, I will let you guys know what I'm giving away. I'm looking at the list and deciding, but we have the winner. So I will announce that at the end of the call today, and we'll just go right into our topic for today. So this week we are, sorry, everyone, I had some notes and I just realized they're on my, I don't know if anyone else has this issue, but my computer automatically goes to Chrome and I don't have logins on Chrome. My kids' accounts are on Chrome. So anyways, okay. So we're talking about getting outside. And I think we have two coaches on the team, it looks like, that are outside walking as we're doing this call. So yay for that, fitting it in when you can. And we are focused on getting outside 10 to 15 minutes in the first 3 hours of the day and in the last 3 hours of the day. And I think this can be confusing for people. So if you have questions, let us know. We're happy to answer them. I think just like some of the, if it's cloudy, does it count? If the sun hasn't risen, does it count? All of those things. So if you have questions, let us know. And we'll talk through a little bit of that as we kind of go through benefits. So I wrote down some notes to make sure I didn't forget anything, but the benefits of getting morning sunlight, and this would be in the first 3 hours of the sun rising. You can get outside about 30 minutes before the sun has risen, and you're still going to get the light is changing outside. Your eyes are taking that in, and you're still going to get some of the benefits. But if it's like pitch black, you're not. If it's cloudy or overcast, you are also going to get the benefits, even if you can't see the sun directly. Because clouds are covering it, your body is still getting that light, those UV rays. It's just going to take a little bit longer. So if it is overcast where you're at and you're able to get outside for like an additional 10 minutes, then that's going to give you more benefits. But if you're not, like, don't stress. Something over nothing. This challenge is not about perfection. It's about building this habit. And over time, you're going to see and feel a huge difference by doing so. So don't stress if you're not perfect. Also, you get a point every day you do it. So if you miss a day, just get it tomorrow. You do have to do both morning and night to get the point for the day. And then we're also including last week's habit of 10,000 steps. So it's a great, like, if you can combine them and take a 15-minute walk before or after breakfast and before or after dinner, that's a great way to include those. And that's going to also help with blood sugar too. So regulation of your circadian rhythm. I would say that's the number one benefit of getting outside and getting sunlight on your skin morning and evening. Consistent exposure to sunlight in the morning will help regulate your body's internal clock. That's your circadian rhythm, and supporting the proper function of hormones and sleep-wake cycle. And so it's really, really important to get outside and do that sunlight. Henrietta, did you have something to add?
Maybe can you just like explain like how the T3 is when that's created, when the T4 is created, and then for the circadian rhythm, maybe that can be an interesting, like, what, so to understand what the why.
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit. I have that listed here. So first, a well-regulated circadian rhythm from morning light exposure can lead to better sleep quality at night. So I'm going to hit on that first. So when we get outside in the morning and we get direct sunlight, our body is optimizing from like our cortisol production is optimized. So we're getting that increase in cortisol, which is going to keep us alert throughout the day. And cortisol is inverse to melatonin. So when we have that spike in cortisol in the morning, then we're going to have it kind of fall off later in the afternoon. And that evening light exposure is going to help us with our melatonin production. So that is very important for our sleep-wake cycle and also our adrenals. It's going to be really helpful for managing stress and optimizing there, and blood sugar regulation. There's so much, but cortisol happens in the morning. melatonin happens at night, and they're inverse to each other, and getting outside helps our body optimize there. And then as far as thyroid goes, thyroid hormones go, properly functioning thyroid hormones will play a crucial role too in our regulating our mood. And exposure to morning light helps optimize our thyroid function, specifically T3 production, which can help contribute to a better mood and well-being, and also obviously help optimize our metabolism. Because if the body is able to produce more T3, that's going to help with our metabolism, increasing essentially our metabolism. And T3 and T4 are both going to be playing a key role in our metabolism. And also the more our body can produce T4, which happens at night with evening light exposure, that's going to help put us in a more anabolic state, which means better able to build muscle and sustain muscle growth. So getting outside in the morning and night helps with so many things, from metabolism to cortisol and melatonin production, to also optimizing our hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin, which will help with just our cues for hunger throughout the day. And that's going to have a huge impact on just food choices and how we are able to kind of manage that throughout the day with cravings as well.
If you kind of like back it up, right, Michaela? I think this is what Henrietta was getting to too. If you kind of back it up, it's like your circadian rhythm and having something that is on the right cycle is kind of like the first domino in your domino effect, right? And it's such like a downstream effect. Like if your circadian rhythm is in sync, it's like then your hormone, production can be in sync, which then is going to help with this, which then is going to help with this. And so it's just really like one thing that leads to another, which is why it's like one of the important habits we've chosen for this challenge.
Mm-hmm. And just from a biological perspective, like our bodies are made to be outside. It has not been that long that we have been living in houses with artificial blue light on screens all day. And when we do that, like our body has no way of knowing what time of year it is, what time of day it is. And so that's where we can have a lot of dysregulation happening within our bodies. So just getting outside for a little bit, like obviously we would be optimized if we were just outside all day. But getting outside in the morning and evening will help at least anchor your day and tell your body what time of day it is, what time of year it is. So proper functions can happen. And another huge one would be our body's natural production of vitamin D, which is essential for our health. And we get that from getting outside in the morning and evenings as well. And just making sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, another thing, we were just talking about this within our team. For those living in colder, darker, northern hemisphere, in the northern hemisphere, those climates like Utah, or obviously like Washington, anything.
Chicago,
yes. Seasonal affective disorder is something that a lot of us struggle with, and it's definitely worse when we're inside all day. So getting outside is going to help impact our mood, our energy levels, and that morning light exposure can help alleviate a lot of those symptoms too with seasonal affective disorder. I know I experienced that big time last year with getting outside more, as well as using my red light during the day when I was inside working. We had like the longest winter ever in Utah, and I felt really good. I was sick of the snow, but I felt really happy throughout the day. And I think a lot of that is because I really prioritized getting outside. And then I also supplemented with my red light, which you can kind of think of as like, just that, a supplement. It doesn't replace sunlight, but it can help when sunlight is less. Do you want to add anything, Henrietta?
Does that red light, does that also like help just get blood sugar levels down after meals if you're using that in connection with having a meal, like outside will do? Or
that's a great question. I would think so. The red light I have has all three wavelengths, so it's near, near, I think it's medium is what it's called, and far red light. And so I would assume, yes, it does have that, the near, I know you need the near infrared, which is it's not technically like visible, like I can't see it with my naked eye, because that penetrates deep within your body and helps produce more ATP. And I would assume would also help in a similar way that sunlight does with optimizing blood sugar, but
because that was
actually researched it.
Yeah, no, there was one thing when I was at this health conference, and then this doctor was talking, and that was something that really stuck with me when he mentioned that, you know, every time we eat, of course, our blood sugar goes up, like it should. But then if we are either eating it outside or walking outside or just spending time outside around that meal, the blood sugar level is going to just quicker, you know, go down.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're thinking about having a raised blood sugar level, that is like a stress for the body, not necessarily a bad stress because it's natural, but if it's too, you know, too much of it. And then when we're thinking about like year after year after year after year, accumulation of that extra stress versus having less of that blood sugar rise stress because you are spending more time outside, like that accumulation over time can definitely have an impact that is going to be lead to what's the word I'm looking for, that is going to have an impact on your health, basically, and in combination with other things, of course. But that was just something that stuck with me, that it's the little things that you can do that will have a lot of meaning 10 years from now, 20 years from now,
absolutely.
30 years from now. And if stepping outside after or around as many meals as possible can eliminate, can decrease stress over time, you know, that's a great thing that you can do for your health. And again, then just have your body respond in a better way, potentially, when you want physique change, or because that it's so connected. So I think I thought I wanted to say that.
Yeah, I love that. And that's where like getting outside around meals is going to be really beneficial. And that's where, you know, after breakfast, after dinner, I think those are great. And even if you don't have time to go for a walk, just sitting outside can be
exactly.
Too. And I was also going to mention that getting outside, getting that morning sunlight is going to help you produce the neurotransmitter serotonin. So that's going to help with our mood. That's going to help alleviate just symptoms of depression and promote an overall sense of well-being. So if you can get outside in the morning, like it's the best, like happy drug you can give your body. So just, if you haven't tried it, try it. And when you are getting outside, take off your sunglasses, try to remove as much clothing as possible. Obviously that's going to be harder as it gets colder outside, but definitely like try to keep your face free so that you can get the benefits of that morning sun. And if it's early in the morning, like the UV rays are not high, so I wouldn't stress about putting on sunscreen for morning and evening sunlight exposure. But having more skin exposed equates to more benefits there. And does anyone have any questions on morning sunlight exposure? If you guys do, just put them in the chat or feel free to ask them. And then talking about getting outside in the evening, same thing, helps reinforce our body's natural clock, as well as evening light exposure, especially sunlight, helps to signal that it's time for our body to start producing melatonin. And melatonin is the hormone that promotes sleepiness and helps regulate your sleep-wake cycle. It's also extremely anti-inflammatory, so we want that melatonin production happening at night. And that's going to also, getting outside in the evening, since it does help with melatonin production, it'll help us fall asleep faster and enjoy deeper, more restorative sleep. And likely your body is that your circadian rhythm, your clock is going to line up more optimally if you're getting outside. So you might find that you're tired earlier in the evening, which is a benefit as well. Like if you're going to bed at 9:30 or 10:30 versus 11:30 or 12:30, you're going to get so much more benefit from that sleep before midnight, to help with recovery too, because we get more growth hormone production, and more melatonin production earlier in the evening that way. So if you feel like, oh, now I'm falling asleep earlier, take advantage of it and the benefits too. And then,
yeah, I'm thinking that can also lead to like not needing as many hours of sleep because it's such good quality as well. So that can be a win.
yes. And then another piece too that we have seen through research is that spending time outdoors in the evening, especially as the sun sets, helps your body distinguish between daytime and nighttime, which we've already talked about, which can reduce the risk of circadian disruptions, circadian disruptions, like waking up throughout the night, can lead to sleep disorders and other health issues. So we're going to be able to just have better quality, deeper sleep throughout the night. And then also vitamin D synthesis. So if you're in a location where the sun is still out in the evening, being outside can help with vitamin D production too.
And same there, it doesn't have to be sun. It's just like daylight before the sun goes down or within 30 minutes or so.
And then also getting outside in the evening and optimizing our melatonin production will help optimize our cortisol too. So you're going to wake up feeling a lot more energized and ready for the day as well. Anything to add there on that team wise? So something else to go along with that would be the focus on getting outside. If you really want to like supercharge your results, along with getting outside, is not having a bunch of blue light exposure, artificial blue light, in your eyes after that. So get outside, let your body know what time of day it is, let that natural production of melatonin kick off, and then put your blue light blocking glasses on like Henrietta has. I have linked those in this week's email. So you have a link for some. There's so many options. So really you can get any kind. You just want them to have that orange tint. A lot of people will say, oh yeah, I have blue light blocking glasses and I wear those all day long. And I'm like, are they clear lenses though? Because that's not doing anything. That's blue. It will say blue light blocking potentially, but it's like filtering maybe 40% of blue light, which is fine during the day if you want to wear those. But we want to block like 98% of blue light, because if you come inside and then you're on your computer screen or you're watching a TV show or you're scrolling your phone, and you're getting that artificial blue light at night, it's going to blunt your body's melatonin production. So it is going to be harder to fall asleep. Your blood sugar is going to be impacted. Your circadian rhythm is going to be impacted. Your cortisol production, everything we've talked about is impacted if you're on screens at night when the sun has set. So if you can get some $20 blue light blocking glasses after you go outside, put those on, finish whatever you need to do, and that will help a lot. And you will also probably notice like you are getting tired because your body is producing melatonin. So that's a good thing. So eliminating that artificial blue light, I try to just turn off all of my overhead lights and like after dinner, because now the sun's setting around that time. It'll be setting earlier as soon as daylight savings happens for us in a week. So I try to turn off all overhead lights, just have kind of lamps on and put my blue light blocking glasses on as we clean up dinner and like get ready for bed at our house. And I feel like my body knows, okay, it's time for bed. Like we're getting ready for bed. We're preparing for that. It really helps with my evening routine as well. Anything to add to that?
Just like simply explained, if you're exposed to a lot of blue light at night, your body thinks it's midday. Like that's basically the signal you're sending your body. It's midday and now I need to have a lot of energy. And that's why the melatonin is just like, blunted and it's not. So yeah, just like think of it that way.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people I talk to have issues with sleep. So if you're one of the people that has issues with sleep, whether you can't fall asleep at night or you can't stay asleep at night, or you wake up feeling stressed and tired and groggy, like this is going to have a huge impact on you, and is going to help a lot with sleep. And if we're exposed to blue light in the night and we're not getting that melatonin production, like we're missing out on all of those anti-inflammatory benefits too. So our cognitive function is going to be a lot higher if we can eliminate the artificial blue light at night. And getting outside kind of sets that cascade of hormone production that we want to happen on. And something else noted too, just chronic exposure to excessive evening light, especially from screens, has been associated with sleep disorders such as insomnia. So just keeping that in mind, it seems like it's a really cheap, it's like a $20 investment, right? Getting outside is free, $20 to put on some blue light blocking glasses. And the cool thing, obviously I would love for everyone to switch from their screens at night to reading a book or doing activities that promote rest. But the cool thing is it doesn't have to all happen at once. Put your blue light blocking glasses on, and if you want to watch a show before bed, you can do that. And you're at least going to be protecting yourself from blunting that melatonin production. So,
and it's actually not even $20. You can get a 5-pack for 20 or $25.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe you can link those today also. That would be great. And then I thought we'll talk about we were going to just share kind of some of our own personal experience with this habit as well. Who wants to start just on team wise, or if anyone on the call has any personal experience too with getting outside and how that's benefited you?
But Michaela, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
My internet's kind of unstable. Mine's just very similar to yours, just kind of last year with our winter that we had. If I wasn't getting outside, if I wasn't having that daily, even in the middle of the day, if I knew if I didn't get my morning sunlight in, even if I was getting outside in midday, and just creating a culture for myself of, okay, it's cold, it's winter, but who cares? We got to get outside. We got to get moving. I mean, it really helped to the point where people around me were just like, I cannot wait for it to get warm. And I'm like, well, I'm actually kind of okay. It's not killing me that it's still cold, because I can still utilize what I have. I can still get outside and I can still get the outside environment in. And that really, really helped mentally get me through that winter month that we had. That was just insane.
Yeah, I agree. And we were just talking about clients, and we have an HF Physique subscription client that did blood work in the spring, and her testosterone was at 0, and she was experiencing brain fog and just tired and all of those things, a lot of inflammation too, coming off of surgeries. And so she committed to getting outside through the last 6 months of summer, and getting that morning and evening sunlight, but also getting midday sunlight on her skin as much as possible. And then she also incorporated fatty fish into her diet, which is a future habit that we'll be doing. And her testosterone quadrupled. Her numbers went from 0 to in the 40s. And it was so cool to see that show up on her blood work. Obviously, she was doing a few different things, but getting outside and getting sunlight was the biggest thing that she implemented. And so sex hormones also, everything comes from changing our lifestyle. And it's crazy because I think it's so easy to just assume that calories in, calories out is going to be the biggest difference maker, or getting in your workout. But if you're neglecting your lifestyle, then it can make it really hard to see progress, even though you're doing the work. So if this is you and you feel like, gosh, my diet's on point, I'm working out and I'm not seeing results, then start to focus on some of those lifestyle things. Think about your sleep wake cycle. What's your bedtime routine? What's your evening routine? What's your morning routine? And are you getting outside throughout the day? Can you start with something? I think a lot of us have a lot going on in our lives. We've got kids, we've got jobs, we've got people that need us and things on our to-do list. And so I think as you guys implement this habit, know that it's probably going to take it's going to take a lot of effort in probably trial and error. Maybe you start trying to get outside at a certain time of day and you find that doesn't work for you. Like, just be willing to recommit to this. And then know 5 minutes is better than none. So if you aren't able to get any points this week and get the 10 to 15 minutes twice a day, just shoot for 5 and know that that's going to benefit you as well. So something over nothing. Don't stress if it's not happening every day. Just trying to do your best here, like all things, and it will make a difference over time. Any questions?
Also, like, if you start seeing or feeling, I would say, the change, then if that is like just by doing 5 minutes, because that's what you're able to do. I think many times when we start feeling a change, or we can see like the positive impact in even the smallest way, then that motivates us to maybe make some changes that maybe now suddenly we are able to get in 15 minutes because we changed things around or we prioritize differently. So I think also that's why it's so important to just start doing, just the smallest little change in that direction can, lead to just an easier gateway, so to speak, to change your lifestyle, if possible. For some, it's like, maybe it's not possible. Maybe that would say like, okay, I have to change my job. But besides that, I think just start with something, and it can snowball into something bigger.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, today's winner for week 1, which, by the way, everyone should have gotten that email. I noticed not everyone has submitted their points for the week. So every Sunday you'll get that email and just click the link and you'll submit your points for the week. And then we'll do the giveaway winner on Mondays. So just get your points submitted before our call next Monday, and you'll be eligible for next week's giveaway if you're doing the Elevate Challenge. But for everyone, what was that?
One of my clients had that email now in her junk mail. So just look in your junk if you haven't seen it. Check
your junk mail if you don't see it, because it will be there. And it's just coming from me, Michaela at hungryfitness.co. And this week's winner, we are giving I'm kind of going to go from like smallest to largest on prizes. We'll see. But this week's winner is our macro consult with our team, which is great because we set your nutrition goal at the beginning of this challenge. You can save this macro consult and use it later. I think at the end of the challenge would be a really good timing because it will have been 6 weeks and you can see like where you're currently at, what your progress has been, and we can look at things and give you new goals there too. So the winner for the macro consult is Brianna Harn, and I will message you on the app because I don't think Brianna's on this call. So I'll message her on the app, and you can choose which coach you would like to get your macro consult with, and we'll go from there. So I hope everyone has a great week. And as always, let us know if you have any questions. Tag us in the app and tag us on Instagram. Let us know how you're doing, and good luck getting your steps and getting outside this week and enjoying the benefits of that. Thanks, everyone.